Hey, this is Kenny Mayne. This is not my podcast. I'm just the introductory voice doing a favor for an old friend. He somehow thinks this is going to help his success. We'll find out. I sure hope so, though, because I've known Keith Simons since we were like 10 or 11 years old. We played boys club football together back in Federal Way, Washington. Then we played against each other in junior high and high school. He went on to college. I went on to college. He went on to coach college and then tutor quarterbacks pretty much the rest of his life. And he got so deep and nerdy into the art of quarterbacking that he decided to start a podcast called QB Unfiltered. There will be far better quarterbacks than I as guests on this show, but I'm just here to say, listen, you might learn something.
This is QB Unfiltered. I'm Coach Keith Simons. This is my take. Tonight, Stephen A. Smith, at least you're consistent. Recently, ESPN's First Take had a segment on the hiring of Kliff Kingsbury by the Washington Commanders as offensive coordinator. And guys, if I say the Redskins instead of the Commanders, I apologize, but old habits die hard. When I saw this pop up on my laptop and I saw the tag underneath it that said there is no bona fide reason why he was hired, and I saw who the panel was, Stephen A. Smith, I knew that this was going to be good, and he didn't disappoint. On this panel, Stephen A. was joined by Chris Mad Dog Russo. Now, Mad Dog is a sports talk personality, radio sports talk guy out of New York City. And I'm guessing that he has never laced up a pair of sneakers in his entire life. While Stephen A. is doing his shtick, and he starts off on this thing, they've got a split screen on, and Mad Dog is over there, and Stephen's on the other side doing his thing, and Mad Dog has got this goofy ass look on his face, just frozen. And I'm looking at Mad Dog, and I'm looking at Stephen A., and I'm looking at Mad Dog, and it hasn't changed. And I look at Stephen A., he's talking, yelling. I look back at Mad Dog, and his expression hasn't changed. And I go, man, this is going to be good when he starts to talk. And he didn't disappoint. So when Stephen A. got done and they turned it over to Mad Dog Russo, he was talking about Caleb Williams. And we all know Caleb Williams. Everybody in the sports world knows Caleb Williams. Everybody in the football world knows Caleb Williams, except for Mad Dog, evidently. But Caleb is the quarterback for the USC Trojans and won the Heisman Trophy 2 years ago, and is the projected number one pick in the draft coming up this spring. But Mad Dog, when he was talking about Caleb Williams, called him Kalib. And I went, okay, that was a glitch. That was a glitch. You know, he'll recover. And then he said his name again, Kalib. And I went, oh, are you shitting me? And he continued to call him Kalib for the rest of the time that he was on. And that's really not a big shocker for me, because this is the same guy that called former NFL quarterback Dan Orlovsky a scrub. You know who's not calling Orlovsky a scrub? Anybody that's ever played quarterback a day in their life. It is the single hardest position and thing to do in sports. But Mad Dog Russo has no clue about that, because he's never done anything athletically. He's just a guy that stands behind a microphone and talks. So enough about Mad Dog Russo. Let's listen to what Stephen A. had to say.
I'm not going to sit up there and say that a former head coach in the National Football League doesn't deserve to be an offensive coordinator. And I want to say that. And to be honest with you, I want to preface my comments by apologizing to Kliff Kingsbury. I'm really sorry that I have to get on him the way that I do, because I'm not really getting on him. It's the predicaments that he finds himself in that I'm lamenting, guys. And that's not his fault. If I'm Kliff Kingsbury and I've coached in college football for 6 years and I don't do much, okay? I only have like 2 winning seasons and somebody comes along and offers me a head coaching job in the NFL, I wouldn't turn it down. If I get fired after 4 years in Arizona when I only make 1 playoff appearance and obviously go to 1 playoff game or what have you and only have 1 season with a winning record, and then they offer me an offensive coordinator's position in the National Football League, I'm not turning that down. I get that. It's not his fault. But I am not exaggerating when I say this. Kliff Kingsbury, the now former coach for the Arizona Cardinals, I challenge anybody in football to tell me I'm wrong about this. This man is more known for his relationships with quarterbacks and that fly-ass crib he had during the NFL draft when COVID was going on and we saw where he was. He's more known for that than he is for winning football games. And we talk about things, and I'm going to go here, doggy. We talk about diversity, and we certainly saw black coaches getting hired and all of that other stuff. That's not where I'm going. I'm saying from an historical perspective, we look at a guy like Kliff Kingsbury, and you know what we see as black folks? This is the kind of stuff that don't happen for black folks. So you're in college, right? And you got a good relationship with Kyler Murray. So we got the #1 overall pick, we Arizona. So we gonna hire you because you ingratiated yourself with a kid in this family and you the right guy for the job. That works out for you with 1 playoff appearance in 4 years, okay? And 1 season and winning record. Now we fast forward years later. Now you're the offensive coordinator. Why you get that job? Because they got the #2 overall pick and Caleb Williams is talking about, that's my dog. Right there. And you get the offensive coordinator's job. It doesn't seem to me like there are bona fide football reasons as to why Kliff Kingsbury is the new offensive coordinator for the Washington Commanders. You couldn't produce but so much in college. You damn sure didn't do it in the pros, but somehow, some way, job opportunities come your way. And doggy act like the dude is accomplished. Accomplished what? You know what Kliff Kingsbury has accomplished? The brother knows how to schmooze. He knows how to schmooze, and he damn sure knows how to pick fly cribs. That's what he has established. But my point is, we never mentioned Kliff Kingsbury. All we ever knew about him, he had a good relationship with Patrick Mahomes. Oh, he had a good relationship with Kyler Murray. What the hell is he doing? Taking them to maestros? Or catch or something? Schmoozing? What is he doing? Because when we see him on a football field, when he's with them, they don't accomplish much.
Does it really shock anybody that he played the race card on this? Not me. And, it's just a talking point. It's for clicks. It's what he gets paid for. And it's really becoming irritating and obnoxious. I think that Stephen A. needs to get out of the sports talk game and get into politics or whatever, wherever else he can just get on his soapbox and pop off about this nonsense, because there's really no place for it in the NFL and athletics. So, Stephen A. is concerned that Kliff Kingsbury was only hired because of his skin color. What has he done? How does he qualify for this? Well, let's go over a few of those qualifications, Stephen A. Let's start with #1. He's a quarterback whisperer. He's a developer of QBs. And with how horseshit overall the quarterback picture is in the NFL, they need more QB developers coaching quarterbacks. And he is definitely that. So while he was in college, this is what he did and who he developed. And we'll start with the University of Houston, Case Keenum. Case Keenum played for Kingsbury. He was the Sammy Baugh Award winner 2 years, which went to the #1 rated quarterback in the country. And Case Keenum is the all-time leading passer in NCAA history. And then Kingsbury went to Texas A&M and coached Johnny Manziel. Johnny Manziel won the Heisman Trophy. You know, he flamed out in the NFL, but that had nothing to do with Kingsbury. Manziel flamed out in the NFL because he had bad habits. Football was not a priority for him, and that's why he was out of the league fast. Had nothing to do with Kingsbury, because when he played for him at A&M, his numbers were off the charts running that scheme. And then Kingsbury went to Texas Tech, where he tutored Patrick Mahomes. Let's see, what's Mahomes doing in a few days? Oh, he's playing in the Super Bowl. Okay, he coached Patrick Mahomes, and then he coached Baker Mayfield. All right, Baker Mayfield, Heisman Trophy winner, first-round draft choice. Both those guys played for him at Texas Tech and threw the ball all over the yard. And we can also throw Kyler Murray in there. Now, Kyler Murray played for Lincoln Riley at Oklahoma, where he won the Heisman Trophy and was the first round or the first pick in the draft, running the exact same offense that Kingsbury runs. And then Murray goes to the Arizona Cardinals, where he plays for Kingsbury, and in 2019 was the NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year. And, you know, there's a theme here, and that theme is great quarterback coach, great offensive coordinator, air raid guy, quarterback developer, and it's not just one guy, okay? It happens with every quarterback that Kingsbury works with, and it's the system that he runs. So who thought he was qualified for this job? Well, Dan Quinn did, and the Washington Commanders did. And why do they want him as the offensive coordinator? Well, besides him developing and working with quarterbacks, it's his scheme. So teams that are running his scheme, the Baltimore Ravens, all right, and look what that did for Lamar Jackson. He's going to win the NFL MVP this year. The Detroit Lions, Jared Goff, he ran that system in college for Tony Franklin at Cal, and he's running it now in Detroit, putting up huge numbers, okay? And then the Kansas City Chiefs, who basically are running, Andy Reid's basically running Kingsbury stuff. And so, again, there's a theme. It's an air raid, quarterback-driven offense, and so you want a coach that knows how to do that. So, Stephen A., if Kingsbury's not qualified, in your words, to be the guy, who's your pick? Who's the best quarterback coach out there that you would hire if you're Quinn at Washington? Who do you got? That's what I thought. So, Stephen A., do you really think that head coaches in the NFL are concerned about skin color when they hire assistant coaches, when they hire offensive coordinators or defensive coordinators? The answer to that is fuck no. Never have been and never will. They want to hire the best coach, period. The best teacher, the best communicator, the best developer, the best coach. So all this race card crap is just nonsense. It's nonsense. All right. At the end of the day, Stephen A. Smith is a non-sports guy with a microphone in front of him. And it's starting to really get tiring. And that's my take. This is QB Unfiltered. And remember, always throw the ball short to guys who can score. See ya.